The message arrived on a Tuesday. Humanity had spent decades watching the stars, sending signals into the darkness, and hoping for a response. When it finally came, the world changed forever. Jack Warren was eating breakfast when his secure phone buzzed. As Earth's lead diplomat for extraterrestrial affairs, most people thought his job was theoretical. Until now. "We need you in Geneva." "Now," said the voice of President Clark. "They're here." 12 hours later, Jack stood beside scientist Olivia Miller in a hastily prepared conference room at the United Nations. Screens around them showed the massive ship that had appeared in orbit without warning. It dwarfed the International Space Station nearby. Their message translates roughly to "We come in peace as representatives of the Galactic Council," said Olivia, pushing her glasses up. "They're requesting face-to-face talks." The world's leaders agreed after brief discussion. What choice did they have? The alien ship could have attacked without warning if that was their intention. 3 days later, Jack and Olivia boarded a shuttle bound for the visitor ship. Neither spoke much during the journey. What could they say? They were making first contact for all of humanity. The shuttle docked with a soft thump. The door opened to reveal a wide, curved hallway bathed in blue light. Standing there were 3 beings unlike anything Jack had ever seen. The tallest had gray skin, 6 limbs, and large eyes that blinked sideways. "Welcome," it said in perfect English. "I am High Counselor Zivtar. We have waited long to meet humans." Jack stepped forward, remembering his training. "On behalf of Earth, we greet you with friendship and hope." Zevtar led them through winding corridors to a grand chamber. Inside, screens showed views of planets Jack didn't recognize. Around a large table sat creatures of various shapes and sizes, representatives of the 17 species that made up the Galactic Council. "For millions of years, we have guided the development of intelligent life in this galaxy," explained Zevtar. "We offer protection, knowledge, and community to worthy species." Olivia raised an eyebrow at the word "worthy" but said nothing. The council beings explained their history, how they had united after terrible wars, how they now maintained peace across thousands of star systems. They offered Earth membership, though only as a probationary member at first. "We can help Earth solve its problems," said a small, bug-like alien. "Energy crisis, climate issues, disease. Our technology can address these challenges." The deal seemed too good to be true. Jack noticed Olivia thinking the same thing. During a break in the talks, they met Alan Harris, a human who had been quietly observing from the side of the room. His presence surprised them both. "I've been studying them for months," Alan explained quietly. Jack noticed the man's council badge looked different from their visitor passes. "They found me on a deep space research mission 6 months ago and brought me here." "What are they really like?" asked Olivia. Alan glanced around before answering. "Mostly what they seem. Advanced. Organized. But there's something else. Watch how the smaller species defer to the larger ones. This isn't quite the equal partnership they describe." When the formal reception began, Jack noticed what Alan meant. The council beings mixed and talked, but subtle hierarchies were evident. Some species were clearly more powerful than others. During the dinner, Jack overheard 2 council members speaking in what they thought was private. "Another adaptive species," said one with transparent skin showing swirling blue organs. "Remember the Corvin." "The humans seem even more flexible," replied a tall, thin being. "Their technology is primitive, but advancing rapidly. Too rapidly, perhaps. The containment protocols worked before. They will work again." Jack pretended not to hear, but his heart raced. What were containment protocols? And who were the Corvin? Later that night, as Earth prepared to sign a preliminary membership agreement, Jack found himself staring out a viewport at his blue home planet. The Council offered marvels beyond imagination, but something felt wrong. He couldn't shake the feeling that humanity was stepping into something much bigger and more dangerous than anyone realized. 5 years passed since first contact. Earth had changed in ways no one could have imagined. Council technology helped clean the oceans and stabilize the climate. New medicines cured diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries. People lived longer, healthier lives. But there were costs. Layla Patel walked through the Mars Colony Dome, noting how different it looked from the plans Earth had originally drawn up. The Council had insisted on improvements to the design. Somehow those improvements always included monitoring systems and limitations on what humans could build. As lead researcher for Human Council relations, Layla had access to areas most people didn't. She noticed how Council observers watched humans constantly, taking notes, collecting samples. "They study us like we're lab rats," she told her colleague Simon during their weekly lunch. Simon shrugged. "They've given us so much. Some observation seems fair. Have they really given us that much?" Layla asked. "Look closer. Every technology they share has limits built in. We can't modify it. Can't learn how it really works." Earth now sat on the Council as a probationary member. 5 years had passed with no mention of full membership. When Earth representatives asked, the answers were always vague. Soon, when the time is right. These things take time. Meanwhile, on the Council's Central Hub Station, Security Officer Kevin Grant was reviewing visitor logs when he noticed something odd. The Council kept detailed records on all member species, but the file on humans was 10 times larger than any other. Why? Late one night, Kevin used his security clearance to access the restricted sections of the database. What he found disturbed him. Council reports described humans as dangerously adaptive and showing concerning levels of innovation. One report warned about humanity's unique ability to reverse engineer technology beyond their development level. The most troubling document was titled Containment Strategy, Human Species. It outlined plans to limit human expansion, restrict access to key technologies, and guide their development along approved paths. This wasn't partnership, it was control. When Kevin brought his concerns to his superior officer, the response was swift. "You've been reassigned to security detail on Outpost 47, his boss told him the next day. Outpost 47 orbited a gas giant at the edge of Council space, as far from Earth and the central hub as possible. "Why?" Kevin asked. "The posting will suit your skills," came the cold reply. Kevin knew the truth. He was being silenced. Back on Earth, Council scientists requested more and more human subjects for their studies. They claimed they needed to understand human biology to provide better medical care. Some of their questions seemed strange. How quickly could humans adapt to new environments? How did they respond to stress? How creative were they under pressure? The Mars colony grew, but with strict limits. Council officials denied requests for expansion into the asteroid belt, citing safety concerns. When Earth engineers developed improved life support systems, Council inspectors found reasons why they couldn't be used. One day, Layla received a message from a name she didn't recognize, Kevin Grant. The message was brief but alarming. "They fear us. Check file CR 7293. Not what they seem." Finding the file wasn't easy. Layla had to hack into secure Council databases using tricks she had learned from watching Council technicians. What she found confirmed her worst fears. The Council had done this before. Species called the Corvin had developed quickly, showing great promise. The Council had guided them with similar restrictions. When the Corvin eventually rebelled against the limitations, they were declared a threat to galactic peace. Their technology was confiscated. Their colonies restricted. Over generations, they declined into a shadow of what they might have become. The file included a list of other species that had been contained over thousands of years. Some no longer existed at all. Layla encrypted her findings and sent them to trusted friends in Earth's government. If humanity was to avoid the fate of the Corvin, they needed to start planning now. The friendly face of the Council had begun to slip, revealing something much more controlling underneath. Earth's honeymoon with the stars was ending. 10 years had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Council, Ambassador Susan Taylor stood before the Grand Council chamber, her back straight despite her frustration. Around her sat representatives from 17 alien species, all watching with different expressions. Some showed interest, others boredom, and a few displayed clear annoyance. Earth has fulfilled all requirements for full membership, Susan said firmly. We request the Council recognize our status and grant us full voting rights. High Counselor Zevtar's 6 limbs moved in a gesture that humans had learned meant hesitation. Your species has made progress, but our cultural maturity metrics indicate you are not yet ready. What metrics? Susan asked. We've never seen these standards despite multiple requests. The metrics are complex, replied another council member with blue skin. Too complex for humans to fully understand at your current development level. Susan fought to keep her expression neutral. Always the same answers. Always the sense that humans were being judged by hidden rules they couldn't see. She left the chamber knowing what the response would be to her request. Another denial. Another delay. 2 months later, disaster struck the human colony on Europa. A strange disease began spreading among the settlers. It attacked the nervous system, causing pain and eventually death. Local doctors were overwhelmed. Dr. William Carter, the colony's chief medical officer, sent urgent requests to the Council for help. The Council had advanced medical technology that could easily identify and cure the disease. The reply came 3 days later. Request denied due to Protocol 339B. Restricted medical technology cannot be shared with probationary species. William stared at the message in disbelief. People were dying, and the Council was citing protocols. They're letting us die, he told his medical team. But we won't accept that. Against Council regulations, William and his team began developing their own cure. They worked day and night in secret, using what they had learned from Council technology without actually possessing it. On Earth, Susan received news of the outbreak. She immediately demanded the Council share the needed medical technology. It would violate our most sacred principles, said Counselor Krell, a small insect-like being. Each species must develop at its natural pace. People are dying. Susan shouted, forgetting diplomatic protocol. There's nothing natural about letting people die when you can save them. The Council chamber fell silent. Susan realized she had crossed a line, but she didn't care. The truth was becoming clearer every day. The Council had never intended to treat humans as equals. On Europa, William and his team worked around the clock. They studied blood samples and tested treatments. Progress was slow, and the death toll rose. Then, a breakthrough. Dr. Lisa Young, the team's virologist, identified a way to block the disease from attacking nerve cells. Within days, they had a working treatment. The Europa colony was saved, but the cost was high. 300 people had died before the cure was found. When the Council learned what William's team had done, they were furious. You have violated Council directive by developing unauthorized medical technology, Zevtar announced. This is a serious offense. Susan stood her ground in the emergency session, called to address the Europa incident. My people were dying, she said coldly. You refused to help. What did you expect us to do? The mood on Earth changed after Europa. People began questioning the Council's true motives. Why withhold life-saving technology? Why keep promising full membership but never delivering? Layla Patel's secret reports about Council containment strategies spread among Earth's leaders. More humans in Council positions began looking closer at their alien partners. Earth President Frank Miller met with his top advisors in a secure room, swept for listening devices. The Council sees us as a threat, not as partners, he said. We need to prepare for the possibility that one day they may decide we're too dangerous to allow further advancement. Around the table, heads nodded. The honeymoon was truly over. The question now was what to do about it. In his private chambers, Zevtar reviewed the Europa reports with concern. The humans had developed a cure in weeks that should have taken them decades without Council technology. They were learning too fast, adapting too well. Increase containment measures, he ordered his staff. Humanity must be controlled before it's too late. Rain poured down as Gregory Mitchell hurried through the dark streets of Zurich. As Earth Intelligence Director, he rarely met assets in person, but this meeting couldn't happen through normal channels. The small cafe was almost empty. In the back corner sat a hooded figure whose 4 arms marked her as non-human. Gregory sat down across from her. "You must be Xin Loria," he said quietly. The alien pushed back her hood slightly, revealing iridescent skin. "And you are the one who can help my warning reach the right ears." Xin Loria had contacted Earth Intelligence through encrypted channels, claiming to have vital information. As a mid-level council data analyst, she had access to classified archives. "Why are you helping us?" Gregory asked. "Because I've seen this pattern before," she replied. "My own species was once like yours. Curious, innovative. Then the council guided us. 300 years later, we're dependent on them for everything. We've lost something precious." She handed him a small data crystal. "This contains proof of what the council really is." Later that night, in a secure room beneath Geneva, Gregory and a small team reviewed the files. What they saw shocked them. The Galactic Council had not formed as a peaceful federation as they claimed. It had begun as a conquest by the original 6 species, who then created a system to identify and control any species that might one day challenge them. "Look at this list," said analyst Judy Peters. 27 species marked as successfully contained over the past 10,000 years. The files showed how it worked. First, approach with friendship and promises. Then, impose restrictions disguised as protection. Limit technology sharing to create dependency. If a species showed too much independence, apply economic pressure. If they still resisted, more direct measures followed. "They're afraid of us," Gregory realized. "Humans adapt too quickly. We solve problems in ways they don't expect." One file was particularly disturbing: a risk assessment of humanity. It rated humans as highest threat level due to their dangerous combination of technological innovation rate, biological adaptability, and social cohesion. The Council feared that within a century, humans might surpass them if allowed to develop freely. Gregory took this information directly to Diana Rice, Earth's military commander. Her office was sparse, functional, with maps covering the walls. "Can we trust this defector?" Diana asked after reviewing the files. "My team believes so," Gregory replied. "Too many pieces fit with what we've already suspected." Diana stood and walked to the window overlooking the training fields where Earth's defense forces prepared. "The Council limits what weapons we can develop, what ships we can build, where we can go. Now we know why." "What do we do?" Gregory asked. "We prepare, quietly," Diana said. "We maintain the appearance of the good, obedient probationary species. But behind that mask, we get ready." Within weeks, Earth began a secret program. Research teams worked in hidden facilities, developing technologies beyond what the Council permitted. Earth ships continued to follow Council flight plans, but each carried hidden features. Military training incorporated what they had learned about Council tactics. Meanwhile, the Council grew more controlling. They installed advisory teams in major Earth cities to help manage human affairs. More regulations appeared limiting human expansion in space. At a private council session, Zevtor spoke with growing concern. "The containment protocols are not working as effectively as with previous species. Humans continue to show alarming rates of adaptation. Perhaps more direct measures are needed," suggested Councillor Vroul, whose species had been among the original founders. The Corvin required significant intervention before they accepted their proper place. "Not yet," Zevtor decided. "More restrictions first. Cut their resource allocations. Limit their colony expansion. We have time to bring them under control." But they were wrong. The Council didn't have as much time as they thought. Humanity had begun connecting the dots, seeing the cage being built around them piece by piece. In an underground facility beneath the Himalayas, Physicist Maria Ford made a breakthrough that would change everything. As her team cheered around her, she stared at the test results with a mix of excitement and fear. "It works," she whispered. "We've done it." What her team had created would either save humanity or bring the Council's full wrath down upon Earth. There would be no middle ground. Maria Ford wiped sweat from her forehead as she watched the small probe disappear from the lab. One moment it was there, the next it was gone. 3 seconds later, it reappeared. "Distance?" she asked. Her assistant checked the readings. 2 light minutes, and the energy use was 60% less than projected. Maria tried to stay calm, but it was hard. Her team had just achieved faster-than-light travel using a method completely different from the Council's. More efficient, more powerful, and it had taken them just 15 years, not the centuries the Council claimed such development required. "Begin data wipe," she ordered. "No records outside of our secure system." 2 days later, a Council inspection team arrived for a routine check of Earth's research facilities. They found nothing unusual, just the approved experiments they expected. The humans were polite, cooperative. The inspection team leader reported back, "No violations detected." The humans appeared to be staying within their technology restrictions. But word of Maria's breakthrough reached the highest levels of Earth government. President Samuel Wright called an emergency meeting in a room so secure that even the Council's advanced surveillance couldn't penetrate it. "If the Council discovers what we've done, they'll take immediate action against us," Samuel said to the gathered leaders. "But this changes everything. For the first time, we have technology they don't." "What do we do with it?" asked Defense Secretary Eric Powell. "We have 2 choices," replied Samuel. "Submit to the Council completely, or prepare to break away. I think we all know which path our people would choose." The vote was unanimous. Earth would prepare for independence. The next 3 months saw frantic but carefully hidden activity. Key personnel and equipment moved to secret locations. Plans were made to evacuate Earth scientists and leaders if the Council discovered their work. A shadow government formed, ready to take control if needed. Then came the news they had feared. A Council observer had noticed unusual power fluctuations at one of Maria's labs. An investigation was ordered. "They'll find something," Maria warned during an emergency call. "We didn't have time to cover everything." The Council's suspicions grew when their investigators found traces of exotic particles that shouldn't exist in an approved lab. High Counselor Zev Tar convened an emergency session. "We have evidence the humans have violated technology restrictions," he announced. "We must act quickly before this spreads." The Council voted to send an ultimatum to Earth: surrender all research and submit to direct Council oversight of all technology development, or face expulsion and isolation from the galactic community. Ambassador Susan Taylor received the message with a calm face that hid her inner anger. "I will convey your terms to my government," she said formally. On Earth, President Samuel addressed his people. His speech was carefully worded, appearing to express regret, while actually sending hidden signals to those who knew the plan. "The Council has expressed concerns about some of our research," he said. "We value our place in the galactic community and will cooperate fully with their investigation. All research facilities will open their doors to Council inspectors tomorrow." That night, as the world watched and waited, the real work happened in darkness. Thousands of key personnel disappeared from their homes and workplaces. The most important research data and equipment vanished from labs across the planet. Military units moved quietly to new positions. When Council enforcers arrived at Earth's main research facility the next morning, they found what appeared to be a normal lab with outdated prototypes and incomplete data. "Where is the lead researcher?" demanded the Council enforcer. The lab assistant looked confused. "Dr. Ford. She's on vacation. Would you like to leave a message?" Across the solar system, in a hidden base carved into Pluto's moon Charon, Maria Ford watched the Council ships orbiting Earth. Around her, a new kind of faster-than-light drive was being installed in the first ships of humanity's hidden fleet. "How long until we're ready?" she asked Admiral Charlie Beck. 6 months if we rush, he replied. But we'll only get one chance at this. Better to do it right. Maria nodded. 6 months it is. Then we show the Council exactly what humans can do. The mining ship looked ordinary from the outside. It moved slowly through the asteroid belt, apparently gathering resources like dozens of other human ships permitted by the Council. But inside, it was anything but ordinary. Admiral Paul Bennett floated in the hidden command center built inside what should have been the main ore processing chamber. Around him, officers monitored systems that no Council inspector had ever seen. Status report, Paul said. Fleet construction is at 87%, replied his second-in-command. All ships have the new drives installed and tested. For nearly a year, humanity had maintained an elaborate deception. On the surface, they appeared to follow all Council restrictions. Behind this mask, they built a shadow fleet using improvements on Council technology, hidden in the vast spaces of the asteroid belt. Each ship looked ordinary from the outside, but contained systems far beyond what the Council thought humans capable of building. The ships used a mix of stolen Council technology and new human innovations that even the Council hadn't developed. The most important advance was the jump drive created by Maria Ford's team. Unlike Council faster-than-light drives, it left no energy signature that could be tracked. Ships could appear and disappear without warning. On Mars, Council inspectors grew suspicious about resource allocation discrepancies. Earth claimed certain manufacturing facilities had reduced output, but power usage remained high. We need to check the primary assembly plant, the lead inspector told his team. The numbers don't add up. Earth officials received warning of the inspection. They had prepared for this moment. When the inspectors arrived, they found a plant in disarray. Workers cleared debris while emergency teams treated injured personnel. What happened here? Demanded the inspector. Plant manager Jason Gray looked exhausted. Cooling system failure caused a cascade of problems. We're lucky it wasn't worse. The accident had been carefully staged. Damaged equipment had been brought in, and workers were well rehearsed in their roles. The inspectors found exactly what Earth wanted them to see, a facility producing well below capacity due to an industrial accident. It will take months to repair, Jason explained. Maybe longer. The inspectors filed their report, noting that the accident explained the resource discrepancies. This bought Earth more time. Meanwhile, Earth's diplomatic corps continued to request full Council membership, keeping up appearances. Chief Diplomat Henry Lopes attended Council functions, smiling and speaking of cooperation, while knowing what was really happening. We look forward to the day when Earth is a full member, he told a gathering of Council representatives. We've learned so much from your guidance. As he spoke, his aide slipped him a small note. New Council security measures were being implemented across the solar system. More inspections, more restrictions. At Council headquarters, analyst Ventor brought his concerns to the High Council again. Something isn't right with the humans. Their compliance seems too perfect, their explanations too convenient. High Councilor Zev Tar waved away his concerns. The humans know their place now. The ultimatum worked. They've seen what happens when they push boundaries. I respectfully disagree, Ventor insisted. Their resource usage doesn't match their reported production. Their key personnel are often on vacation during inspections. There are patterns here that suggest large-scale deception. But political considerations won out. Other Council matters took priority. Ventor's warnings were filed away, his request for more thorough investigations denied. In the hidden chambers of Earth's shadow government, final preparations moved forward. The plan had multiple phases, backups for backups. Every detail was checked and rechecked. President Samuel met with the operation leaders in a secure facility beneath the Pacific Ocean. How confident are we? He asked Admiral Paul. The ships are ready, Paul replied. Crews are trained. If we need to leave in a hurry, we can. And if we need to fight. Paul's expression was grim but determined. We've studied Council tactics for years. Their weapons, their strategies. We've built countermeasures they won't expect. I'm not saying it would be easy, but we could hold our own." Samuel nodded slowly. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Independence, not war, is our goal." Around the table, the leaders of humanity's secret rebellion nodded. After years of planning, they were almost ready. Soon, the Council would learn exactly what humans were capable of. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council sparkled with light and color. Aliens from 17 species mingled, celebrating 50 years since Earth had joined as a probationary member. Humans in formal dress smiled and chatted with Council officials. Music played. Food and drinks from dozens of worlds were served. High Councilor Zev Tar raised his glass in a toast. "To 50 years of guiding our human friends along the path to galactic citizenship." Ambassador Laura Chen raised her glass in return, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. "To friendship and cooperation," she said. No one noticed how human attendees began moving toward the exits. No one saw the small devices they left behind in hidden corners of the room. No one realized what was about to happen. Laura made her way to the center of the hall. She tapped a small chime that brought silence to the room. "On behalf of Earth, I wish to make an announcement," she said. Her voice was calm, confident. "As of this moment, humanity formally withdraws from all agreements with the Galactic Council." Zev Tar stared in shock. "This is not possible. The procedures for withdrawal take years to." "We are not following your procedures," Laura interrupted. "We are simply leaving." Throughout the solar system, the hidden human fleet emerged from stealth positions. Ships that Council sensors had registered as simple mining vessels or transport craft suddenly revealed their true nature. On Mars, human colonists boarded evacuation ships that rose from concealed hangars. On Jupiter's moons, research stations emptied as personnel entered escape pods. Even on Earth, millions of people moved to designated transport areas. In orbit around Earth, Council ships watched in confusion as thousands of human vessels appeared seemingly from nowhere. The vessels formed a defensive screen, their weapons not firing but clearly ready. Laura held up a small communicator. "At this moment, the human population is beginning a coordinated evacuation from all Council territories and shared facilities. We do not seek conflict. We simply wish to leave in peace." "This is madness," sputtered Councilor Vroll. "Where will you go? How will you survive without Council resources and protection?" "We will manage," Laura replied. "We always have." Council security moved toward the human delegation, but Laura pressed a button on her wrist. All the humans in the room shimmered and disappeared, transported to waiting ships by technology the Council thought impossible for humans to possess. Across the solar system, the evacuation continued with practiced precision. Years of planning and preparation paid off as millions of humans moved efficiently to their assigned ships. The Council's orbital command center frantically tried to understand what was happening. Their sensors showed human ships using drive technology that shouldn't exist, appearing and disappearing from their tracking systems. "Should we engage?" asked a Council commander. "We could disable some of their ships." "No," Zev Tar ordered over the emergency channel. "Any hostile action could escalate the situation. Observe only." In the Council chamber, the holographic image of Laura Chen appeared before the stunned Council members. "We came as friends," she said, her voice echoing in the silent hall. "We remained as servants. Now we leave as equals." "Where are you going?" Zev Tar demanded. Laura smiled. "That is no longer your concern." The image vanished. Throughout the solar system, human ships began jumping to faster-than-light speed, disappearing from Council tracking systems with no energy signature to follow. Council investigators discovered the truth too late. Humans had established self-sufficient colonies beyond Council territory years ago, places the Council didn't know existed, using stealth technology to hide from routine patrols. Admiral Paul Bennett watched from the bridge of Earth's flagship as the last evacuation ships jumped to safety. Around Earth, a small defense fleet remained, ensuring the Council didn't interfere with the final stages of the evacuation. "All civilian ships clear," reported his communications officer. 98% of planned population evacuated. The rest have chosen to stay. Paul nodded. Some humans had decided to remain, willing to live under Council rule. That was their choice. But most had chosen freedom. "Execute final phase," Paul ordered. The defense fleet began jumping away in groups, their destinations known only to human commanders. The last to leave was Paul's flagship. On the Council station, Zevtar watched helplessly as the humans disappeared from sensors, from communication networks, from Council control. "Find them," he ordered. But deep down, he knew it would not be easy. In trying to contain humanity, the Council had created exactly what they feared: a species united against them, walking away toward a future beyond Council reach. 5 years passed since The Walking, as the event became known throughout the galaxy. The Council had assembled its largest enforcement fleet, intending to find and punish Earth's defiance. The fleet spent years searching, but found nothing. The humans had vanished completely. High Counselor Zevtar sat alone in his private chamber, watching for the 100th time the recording of Ambassador Chen's final speech. Her words haunted him. "We came as friends, remained as servants, and now leave as equals." A soft chime announced a visitor. Counselor Ventor entered, looking troubled. "You were right about the humans," Zevtar admitted. "We should have listened to your warnings." "That hardly matters now," Ventor replied. "We have a more immediate problem. The Trilari have announced their withdrawal from the Council." Zevtar stood up in shock. "The Trilari? They've been members for 2,000 years. And the Vosh are likely to follow," Ventor added. Both cite irreconcilable differences with Council philosophy. The Council was facing something unprecedented in its 10,000-year history: member species choosing to leave. The Trilari and Vosh were younger races that had always been somewhat independent-minded, but no one had expected this. More disturbing was why they were leaving. Rumors spread of contact with humans, of a new alliance forming beyond Council space. Far away, in a star system not on any Council map, Laura Chen stood on the observation deck of New Earth's orbital station. Below her, the blue-green planet teemed with life. Human cities dotted the surface, growing rapidly. "Beautiful, isn't it?" said President Samuel, joining her at the window. "Every time I see it, I'm amazed at what we've accomplished," Laura replied. New Earth was just one of 7 major colonies humans had established in secret during their years of preparation. Each was self-sufficient, with defenses that could repel any Council attack. But humans hadn't stopped at mere survival. They had created something new. "The Trilari delegation has arrived," Samuel informed her. "That makes 5 species now." The Free Systems Alliance had begun as a human initiative, but it had quickly attracted interest from other species. The Trilari, Vosh, Sin, Paler, and Jovian had all sent representatives. All were species that had chafed under Council restrictions. What did we offer that the Council didn't? Laura wondered aloud. "Freedom," Samuel said simply. "The right to develop without interference. Equal partnership without hidden agendas." In the Alliance headquarters, human scientists worked alongside alien researchers, sharing discoveries openly. Military ships patrolled together, with mixed crews. Trade flowed freely between worlds. On the Council homeworld, the mood was grim. Reports indicated that more species were considering joining the Alliance. Council authority was being questioned openly for the first time in millennia. "We need to adapt," argued a progressive Council member. "The humans have shown there is another way to build a galactic community." "Never," replied Councillor Vroll. "We must crush this rebellion before it spreads further." But the Council faced a problem. Their enforcement fleet had returned with disturbing news. They had finally located one of the human colonies, only to discover their weapons were ineffective against human defenses. The colony had shield technology that made Council weapons useless. This wasn't supposed to be possible. The Council had carefully controlled weapons development throughout the galaxy for thousands of years. Now they faced an enemy who had leapfrogged past their technology. Admiral Jim Scott stood on the bridge of the Alliance flagship Hope as it patrolled the border of Alliance space. Beside him stood Captain Zill, a Trillary officer. "Council scout ship detected," reported the sensor officer. "They're watching us again." "Let them watch," Jim said calmly. "Let them see what cooperation and freedom can build." The Hope was the most advanced vessel ever built, a joint project combining human innovation with Trillary craftsmanship and Vosh engineering. Its very existence represented what the Alliance stood for: species working together as equals, each contributing their strengths. Back in his chamber, Zev Tar made a decision. He opened a secure channel to the human colonies. For the first time in Council history, they would attempt diplomacy with the species that had defied them. As he waited for a response, he reflected on the irony. The Council had tried to contain humanity, fearing they might one day become a rival power. In doing so, they had created exactly what they feared. The humans had not only broken free but shown others the way. The age of Council dominance was ending. A new era had begun, one where species walked together as equals, not as masters and servants.